Alright, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good evening so far. I think we are just gonna do Chaos Child tonight. So we're gonna skip Cyberpunk. Because there's actually I do want to watch like part of this basketball game later, so I'm probably not gonna stream for very long tonight. So I figured I'd just do Chaos Child tonight. So I think, let's see, last time on this visual novel, I think we just pretty much just went through Takuru kind of talking out what he's figured out so far with the Love Hotel death case. Apparently Ito told Takuru and Sarika that they had ruled the death a suicide, but it sure seems awfully strange to me that it would be a suicide. Plus, I don't think anybody is taking Takuru's account of there being somebody knocking at the door while he was in the room seriously. So I don't know. So yeah, I think we left off. They just left their the newspaper club room. So
ああ、多分な、文化系だったような。
They also kind of discussed how they're gonna get around the fact that Kurusu doesn't want them investigating this case. Ito was moving at a quick pace. His expression was serious, but he was having trouble hiding his excitement.
そんなことあるのか？
んだよ、マジだって。
We were following Ito down the hallway quickly. After seeing the video of the room at the Love Hotel, he'd said,
こいつ知ってるぞ。
Wait, Ito knows her? Really? He'd said that he knew the girl who'd been in the room with us. That couldn't be true. Sarika and I had insisted he was mistaken, but Ito wouldn't listen.
部会で見かけた気がするんだよ。
Even if he was right, the club leaders' meeting was where all the leaders of the school clubs and teams got together. If she was there, did that mean she was a leader in some club? I asked Ito, but he just smirked a little.
わかんねえぞ。うちみたいに部長が大勢の人の前で喋るのが苦手で、副部長が部会の議長だから。ただの部員である俺が出ているところもあるんだからな。
苦手じゃない。ただなんていうか。
I didn't like it. It made me nervous. Being in front of all those people, I mean. And everybody knows those meetings never actually lead to anything productive. If you made a movie out of one of them, no one would go see it.
なんていうか、なんだよ。
いいだろ別に。というかどこに行くつもりなんだよ。
ここだ。
Ito suddenly stopped. It was the student council room on the 6th floor of the annex building.
なんで
部活紹介とかの書類が写真付きで置いてあるんだよ。校内中探すよりいいだろ。
Wait a second. I pulled Ito away from the door.
バカもしクルスがいたらどうするんだよ
Ito gave a little moan.
それはお前がなんとかごまかせよ。
だからそれができるくらいだったら最初から
入ります。
Onoe ignored us completely and walked right into the room. Onoe is like Leroy Jenkins. Damn, now what? We just have to pray she wasn't here. No way, dude. They just walk in and she's right there? Dude, what the fuck? Our eyes met and I suddenly forgot how to breathe. Why? It was that girl. Delusion time. Okay, we're going positive this time. What was she doing here?
タクル？
Uh-oh.
あなたたちもどうしたの全員で。
あ、いや。
The woman, no, the girl, stared at us suspiciously. And then, for the first time, she realized that I couldn't take my eyes off her. Now, you know what he should do to lie and make something up so Kurusu doesn't suspect them? He should just, like, say that he came to confess his love for this blonde girl here.
何ほうけてるのあなたたち。
は
Well, bro, why did they have to go in with, like, why didn't they just let Sarika go in alone and then, like, just make Sarika come up with something to absolve herself rather than now they have to absolve all three of them? The words wouldn't come out. What do I say? Why was she here? Why was she acting so normal?
はじめまして。私、クルスノノの妹です。
Kurusu's younger sister. Okay, well, this is a delusion, so surely that's not the case. The girl suddenly smiled and bowed.
妹？
嘘だクルスに妹がいるなんて話聞いたことが
渋谷地震の時に生き別れになっていたの。私自身妹はもう死んじゃったんだって諦めていたんだけど、まさかこうして再会できるなんて。 本当に奇跡ってあるのね。
There were tears in Kurisu's eyes. Then this girl really was her little sister? I was still having trouble believing it as the girl walked right up next to me.
あなたが宮代拓さんですか？
うん、そうだけど。
How did she know my name?
じゃあ私にとってはお兄ちゃんですね。
なんだと？
そうなの？だってタクルさんはお姉ちゃんにとって弟同然なんでしょ？
What the hell? That doesn't make any sense at all. I looked to Kurusu for help.
タクル、仲良くしてあげて。よろしくお願いします、お兄ちゃん。
And all of a sudden, I had a little sister. Things around here were about to get a lot more complicated. Or not. Not a chance in hell. There was no way this girl was Kurisu's little sister. Not that I had any idea what she was doing here.
のんちゃん、知り合いなの？
Sarika motioned toward the girl.
ええ、後輩。2年生で文芸部部長の有村ひなえさん。あ、どうもです。
Hinai Arimura. The girl bowed to us.
クルス先輩のお友達ですか？ええ。そっちが新聞部部員で3年の伊藤真二くん。同じく部員で2年の尾上セリカ。で、それが部長で3年の宮代拓。身の程を知らない私の愚弟。
Kurisu's eyes narrowed as she glared at me.
弟さんですか？でも名字が。養護施設のね。へえ、血がつながってない兄弟。なんかいやらしいですね。小説とかと一緒にしないでちょうだい。
But still, doesn't it seem kind of naughty? She asked with a wink. What? Why? What are you doing here? I wiped my sweaty hands on my pants and tried to ignore my pounding heart.
何してるんですか？いや、
Damn it. Get the words out.
タクル？
Sarika seemed to understand what I was trying to say and finished my sentence for me.
有村さんは何しにここに来たんですか？え？クルス先輩に文化祭のことで話があったんだよ。てか同学年なんだから敬語いらないよ。うん。まあいっか。じゃあ私はこれで。クルス先輩、すいませんでした。
Kurusu waved a hand and told her not to worry.
事情があるなら仕方ないでしょう。文芸部は文化祭に参加できないと話は通しておくから。でもどうしても事情は言えないのね。痛いけな乙女の秘密ということで何とぞ。了解。でも来年はフォローできないからね。
Well, that sure is sus.
はい、ありがとうございました。
The girl put her bag on her shoulder and bowed to us, then went to leave. Wait. I still haven't asked you about the things I need to. Her name, it was...
有村さん
My voice was loud enough that I made her jump a little.
びっくりした。元気ですね。
ごめんなさい。
いえ、別にいいんですけど。何です？
大声すいませんでした。いや、じゃなくて、ですね。その。
My face was turning red from nervousness. Damn it. This was always what happened the first time I talked to someone. What should I ask? Damn, another frickin'...
そのホテルで
I guess we'll go positive again.
ホテル？
That was weird. Her face like just jumped around like really fast.
何してたんですか？あのホテルで。
A moment. It felt like her body moved for just a moment.
有村さん？
I could see Kurusu frown in the corner of my eye. She was looking at me. Her expression hadn't changed. But for some reason, it felt like she was looking me over. And then she smiled.
気になります？
そりゃ。
Just as I spoke, she leaned over and whispered in my ear.
だったら今度二人で一緒に行きましょう。
え？
何？なんて言ったの？私と宮代先輩だけの秘密です。
I considered that as a possibility, but quickly abandoned it. I couldn't imagine her doing something like that after what I'd seen at the hotel. Something much worse was going on there. An awkward silence ensued as we waited for her to answer.
あなただったんですか？部屋に入ったっていううちの生徒は。
Her tone of voice was perfectly normal. There was no surprise or anger, just a flat, level tone. But somehow, that struck me as much worse.
言葉に出してもらってもいいですか？部屋に入ったのはあなたですか？
What?
そうだよ。
そうですか。
I couldn't tell if she cared or not.
それでホテルで何を？
部屋のドアが勝手に開いて、それで入れたそうですね。それは本当ですか？
え？
The door? The door opened on its own? She knew about that? I nodded.
言葉に出してもらってもいいですか？
Huh?
本当だよ。勝手に内側から。
そうですか。
And then she seemed to be looking me over again. What was going on here?
有村さん、何かあなた。じゃあ失礼します。
Arimura ignored Kurisu's question and went to leave.
ちょっとですから何を？
ああ、敬語いらないですよ。それに呼び捨てでいいです。後輩じゃないですか。それからあなた殺されますよ、宮代拓先輩。
Those were her last words before she left the room. She didn't seem at all surprised that I had questioned her, but I froze solid. Bro, what the fuck? Nah, dude, I would be like going to the police after that shit. Fuck that. Don't even fuck around with this girl. She probably killed that dude. Anyway. Yeah, no, fuck that girl, dude. So, alright, apparently we are on Twitter now. On somebody's, profile whose name is Club President. Ebisu loves cats. Who put this on Hachiko? LOLOLOL. Okome dogs. Creepy AF. Azure Ihashi. This is a sumo sticker, isn't it? Asagao Purpur. It actually looks kind of cute. JA Fabpo 500 stars. Congrats on 500 retweets. Takada Shinya. What the heck is this thing? LOL. Koedame. Who put this on Hachiko? LOLOLOL. Sexes. Sumo Woofer. JA Fabpo 1000 stars. Congrats on 1000 retweets. Miho test taking. Give me a break. I loved Hachiko, but I don't care about this creepy dog. Soda Robo. Who put this on Hachiko? I guess he's replying to that. What's up with this thing? Watanabe I can fry. Cute, huh? Seiya. This is hilarious. October 2nd, 2015. Friday. At the same time, Dogenzaka Shibuya. The sky had been overcast all day, and now it had finally begun to rain. Some of the news media that had been swarming around the Love Hotel decided it was a good time to go home. Others just took refuge in their vans, frowning. Meanwhile, Shinjo's mind raced as quickly as the men trying to flee the storm. Everything had started right after midnight. Hinai Arimura, the Hekiho girl, had refused to give even her name until he'd relayed Momose's message to her. But as soon as she heard it, her attitude changed. His only choice now was to continue to do everything Momose's kid told him to do. The first thing she'd said was that there was almost no chance Arimura was the killer, and that it was safe to let her go. Really? The second thing she'd said was that it would be smarter to let her go and see what she did. The third thing she'd said was that even if he did get some answers out of her, he wouldn't be able to make sense of them. Shinjo had used every bit of his authority to get her released. He'd been forced to suck up to some people he really didn't like, and in the end, she would be monitored and questioned by the police daily. Since they hadn't known if she had anything to do with Kakita's death, they'd used her assault on the police officer to bring her in. I'm thinking she might be a gigolomaniac with the power to like kind of read the future, kind of similar to yeah, kind of similar to what Takumi had and Chaos had. Either way, last evening marked 48 hours since her arrest. They had to decide whether to let her go or seek a warrant for detention. They hadn't found any physical evidence connecting her to Kakita's murder, and Arimura herself said, that was all she'd said, in fact. Provisional release at this point felt like a bit of a stretch of his authority, but it was a sensible decision. If anything here wasn't sensible, it was the fact that he was doing everything Momose's acquaintance asked of him. He didn't have a plan to follow. This was the first time that had happened, he thought. He only managed to be successful at his age around what Momose called the hardheads in Section 1 was... Wait. This sentence doesn't make sense. What the fuck does... I can't even comprehend this sentence. It doesn't make any sense. He only managed to be successful at his age around what Momose called the hardheads in Section 1 was that he knew how to be flexible. What? Okay. I don't know, that is just a completely nonsensical sentence. The reason that many police officers could be stubborn and hard-headed was that most of the time, that was how you solved a case. Shinjo understood that the rules they clung to so fiercely, both written and unwritten, were the product of valuable experience. But he also understood that the unorthodox methods his senior detective friend had taught him were a weapon in their own right. Even if the higher-ups didn't like him using them, they'd brought him success. One good example was the time the profilers had told them that the person behind a string of assaults was a man in his 20s who never left his house. He'd found out that the culprit was actually a runaway girl in her late teens who lived in a net cafe. He'd matched the internet logs that Section 1 had gathered with the data held by the Social Safety Section, a group that was on notoriously bad terms with Section 1. In the end, he'd cracked the case by logging onto an online game and tracking down several of its players, including the girl behind the attacks. Shinjo was, if nothing else, confident that he was capable of not letting preconceptions keep him from making the best choice. But this time, not only did he not know what was the best choice, he didn't even know if the choices he was making were good or bad.
これじゃあ、百瀬さんの言った通りじゃないか。
If he couldn't change things fast, he might end up taking off the case. He looked at his watch and realized something. The man he was waiting for wasn't here. It had cost him quite a bit to get permission to show him the crime scene, and he was over 30 minutes late.
百瀬さんが言うには特徴のあるやつだからすぐにわかるって話だったが。
He didn't know what he looked like, but there was no way the officer standing guard outside could miss him.
ちょっと待ちなさい！こら！
He heard a loud voice from the hallway. Shinjo decided that before he let him into the scene, he'd give him a lecture about his tardiness. He stopped, surprised.
女
He didn't expect to see what he saw. He'd convinced himself that anyone weird enough to want to see a crime scene had to be a guy. But she looked like she'd be very pretty with makeup on, even if she wore none now. A frown was plastered on her face, and her long hair was half-heartedly tied behind her back. And she was wearing a white lab coat, but under it was...
制服それにあれは確か
That was the uniform for Hekiho Academy, the same school Arimura and the two kids who'd snuck into the crime scene attended. Shinjo motioned to the officer to let her pass, and remembered the last name he'd been given by Momose.
君が久野里さんかな
Yeah. I leave it to you all. So, you don't need my confirmation.
Bro, she speaks English.
は
There's no time to waste, as you know. Here. Yeah. Well, I gotta nurse this damn cop. Okay. Later, Chris.
And then she hung up the phone and glared at Shinjo. She showed no sign of apologizing for her lateness or gawking at the scene of a murder. This was her. It had to be. When he saw how arrogantly she was behaving, he knew immediately that this has to be the Kunosato person that Momose had told him about. He felt a little overwhelmed by her, but tried to make his voice as strong as he could.
久野里さんかな百瀬さんのことだからどんな人が来ても構わないつもりでいたんだが若い女の子を入れるわけには
こんな非常識が蔓延している現場で常識的なことを言うな。それが邪魔だと言われなかったか？
She ignored Shinjo's words and walked right past him. She stepped right on top of the number plates that forensics had put on the ground to identify the locations of evidence. And she looked at the blinds placed on the window to stop the media from looking inside, and stopped. Shinjo felt himself becoming annoyed at her attitude, particularly what she'd just said about him in English.
こちらが間抜けな警官だろうが指示には従ってもらう今すぐに
世間の連中は死体はみんな死んでると思ってる。
は
英語を聞き取れる耳は持っていてもビンチャーは見てないのか。
Hold on. Yep. I thought I remembered that, yeah, a movie called Seven. Yep, says directed by David Fincher. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, never saw it, but she put her hand up to the blind that she'd been looking at.
何してんだ。
あんたらは現場は事件が起きた空間だけだと思ってるのかって言ってるんだ。
She kept her eyes on the exposed window. As she tossed him a Pokécom she'd fished out of her pocket. Shinjo grabbed it without thinking and looked down at it. He was stunned. It was footage of the room he was in right now. That was probably Kakita, dead, and Hinai Arimura.
なんだこれは。
ついさっきウェブに貼られた動画だ。
Her answer made Shinjo feel pissed off at everything, including himself. Why didn't he notice? Why did he have to be shown this by a girl who he'd just met?
窓の外からか。
He grabbed onto the window frame, looking for the spot where the video had been recorded. But all he saw was the external wall of the building, slick with rain. There was only some kind of strange, creepy sticker there.
Oi!
Shinjo yelled out into the hallway. The officer outside heard the tone of his voice and rushed inside. Shinjo pointed at the window and said,
至急鑑識を呼んで隣の建物の入り口を封鎖しろ。それからこの映像の出所を。
映像はともかく建物からはおそらく何も出ないぞ。外壁にカメラなどを取り付けた形跡はなかった。
え？
入り口にあった監視カメラの映像をコピーしてうちで洗っているがまあ出ないだろう。出てもらっちゃ困るんだよ。
She must have been enjoying this because Kunosato's frown twisted into a mischievous bully's expression. Again, he didn't understand. He didn't have time for this. He ignored her and ordered his men to seal the building, call forensics, and track down where that video was filmed. With that finished, he turned back to her.
それを調べていて遅れたのか。
現場保全を優先しろ。この動画は貼られた直後にアットちゃんに飛び火した。貼られてから40分強経過している。すでに5000人以上がこの動画にアクセスしてるんだ。その中に事件にへばりついている下のマスコミの関係者がいないと思うか。
待て、勝手に。
ニコニアニュースの渡部です。この動画についてコメントを。
かいよみテレビです。お聞きしたいことが。
出ていけ、掘るな。
He could hear yelling coming from the hallway.
くそ、またあのネット記者か。
Shinjo ran out into the hallway, infuriated.
捜査一課の方ですか？ 動画をご覧に。許可なく入らないでください。コメントすることはありません。
押すんじゃない。
ご覧になったんですか。なっていないんですか。コメントすることはありません。
Kunosato was still looking outside the window as she listened to the commotion in the hallway. She stuck her hands in her pockets and stared at the sticker on the opposite wall the way a person on top of a tall building stares down at the tiny people on the street below.
Na. 気分はどうだ？
Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop here for tonight. So I might stream late tomorrow. Depends on how late our rehearsal goes. But if I don't stream tomorrow night, then I will be back Tuesday night and we'll stream Genshin Impact and the new Ollie visual novel. So, thanks for watching. Have a good night.